And go! Hello everyone, and welcome back for another episode of The Campfire. Today we're going to be discussing a completely absurd film entitled...
Spookies.
Spookies.
Such a wonderful, creative title for this movie.
Yeah.
You want to be freaked out? You want to be spooked, kids?
Yeah.
Get spookies.
Yeah, there's lots of spookies in this.
There's lots of monsters, that's for sure. I mean, a lot. It doesn't go
Non-stop.
13 seconds without some sort of ridiculous-ass monster popping out. This movie was made in 1986. It has a very strange history to it. The rumor behind it is that this is two separate, unrelated films that were chopped together to make one film. And within doing some research, that is a rumor that is not true. What happened is that there was a two-man directing writing team that came in, and originally this movie was supposed to be called Twisted Souls, which, wow, what a better name than Spookies. There was a financier in play. After filming most of Twisted Souls, the financier did not like what he saw, fired those two, and brought in a third director who directed a bunch of extra shit for this movie with an entirely different cast. And when you go into it knowing that, you could actually figure out which ones were different. I mean, we didn't know which was the different ones beforehand, and we were just...
Theorizing.
Excuse me. We were theorizing which it would be, and I actually hit them all like on the head. I picked every single scene.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
I mean, it was like almost two separate movies. Normally, this is where I would give a breakdown of what other films the directors may have made, or the cast and crew, but we're going to skip all that. All the directors involved, all three of them, made nothing. One directed a weird documentary about doublespeak. Most of them worked in like more behind the scenes stuff in other films, but nothing notable. And then the cast, if anyone put anybody in any of these people in any other movie they made, then they made a really poor decision. So, how this movie opens is there's a Dracula, maybe, sort of guy in a what looks to be a basement. There's candles everywhere, and for some reason when he talks, it sounds like when you were a kid and you talked through like an old, like the paper towel roll to like change your voice. It's like,
I have sacrificed the use of so many, so that you might live. And yet, I have betrayed all my powers. Some way to make you see how helplessly I love you.
talks like that the whole time.
But he's not actually a vampire, though, right? What is he?
I think he's like a sorcerer. It doesn't really do a good job of explaining.
A ghoul sorcerer of some sort?
He's a sorcerer of some sort. I believe that term gets thrown around here or there.
And he has there's a mansion that he's in, but he hangs out in the dankest, darkest,
yeah, he's got a big old mansion, chock full of monsters.
And he's found just the grossest room. It's a basement or an attic, or
it never really depicts where he would be. It looks like it would be a basement, but there's a scene later where someone escapes from the room he's in, and they give you the impression she's coming from upstairs.
Right, yeah.
So it's confusing. Well, anyway, he's standing there in his room full of candles and his paper towel talk. I think I'm going to dub this guy the Paper Towel Dracula for the rest of this. It'll be easier to talk about him that way. Just
Paper Towel Dracula.
Paper Towel Dracula. I mean,
that's how he sounded the whole movie.
So he's reminiscing about how he wants his bride back and he needs victims. And then we cut to the next scene, which is a young man named Billy. Billy is clearly a runaway.
And it's his birthday.
We find out it's his birthday.
So here's to you, Billy. Happy birthday.
He's eating some kind of moon pie, or
Well, he's wandering through the woods. He's got his little backpack. He's a runaway.
Yeah.
On his birthday, 13 years old. He's a confused young man. It's wild in these streets. You don't know what to do. And he's got to get away. So he's wandering through the woods, and he stops to maybe have a snack or something to lean against a tree. And out of nowhere, this denim-clad homeless man
yeah.
emerges from the trees and just like starts making small talk with him.
First night away from home, kid.
What makes you say that?
You just seem kind of nervous.
Like asks him for a light, and then he's like, "Oh, why'd you run away? They forgot your birthday, didn't they, kid?" Ha ha.
And Billy walks right up to him.
Yeah, walks right up to him. Obviously, kids weren't getting raped and murdered back then, at least in his eyes, apparently.
Not that anyone knew of.
I have plans. Big plans.
Maybe that's why they forgot Billy's birthday, because he was so fucking stupid.
Yeah,
You're in the middle of the woods, and Denim Dan in his tuxedo or Canadian tuxedo comes strolling on it, asking for you for a lighter. I'm from Toledo. When someone asks you for a lighter around here, it means they want you to get you close enough so they can punch you in the face and take your wallet, you know?
Yeah, especially a denim-clad person in the woods.
Now, if I was in the woods, forget about it. I'd be dispensing jump kicks right to the throat instantly before he even can ask me a question. I'd be over there double dragon style, just putting shoes to him.
Billy must be an idiot.
Yeah, that's probably why they forgot about his fucking birthday.
And that's,
I'd forget about his birthday too if that little son of a bitch was my kid.
Just walking up to strangers.
He doesn't think anything of it. This man emerges from the shadows. He's in the middle of fucking nowhere. I think he's actually on the outskirts of a cemetery?
Yeah, because he eventually walks. The back of the house, the mansion that he finds, is a cemetery, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the mansion's surrounded by
Or
a
is it
cemetery.
supposed to be like it was, it's like a funeral home or something? I don't know.
It never really elaborates.
They don't, yeah.
You never even understand if Paper Towel Dracula, that was like his house, or if he was just there for some reason.
Yeah, well, I told you when we were watching it, I didn't even know for like the first 30 minutes that he was actually in the house.
In the same house.
Yeah. I thought he was somewhere else just kind of playing puppet master.
But we're jumping ahead here.
Yeah.
We got to get to the house before we talk about the house.
So Billy,
because if we get distracted by every ridiculous goddamn thing in this movie, we're never going to get through this movie.
Oh yeah.
Because
yeah.
you can't go 3 lines of dialogue without something completely mind-blowingly stupid happening in this film. So, we find out it's his birthday, run away. Parents don't care, man. Dad Dan, he wants to listen, give him a match. He's like, you know what, mister, I gotta keep moving. I gotta keep trucking, moving it on along.
I have a long road ahead. I guess I'll be seeing you.
Maybe.
So he goes to walk away, and right behind him, and how he didn't see or hear any of this,
It happens immediately after he turns around.
a cat man dressed as a magician with a hook for a hand?
Is that what he is, or is he a pirate?
I don't know if he's a pirate or a magician. He had a gold vest, frilly pirate. I'd say, pirate.
It's frilly.
I was thinking he looked like a magician,
It
but
could
more.
go either way. It was kind of Aladdin-ish too.
But I think fluffy shirt. I think back to Seinfeld, and it's a pirate shirt.
Well, the hook. He had
a hook
hand.
for a hand.
That-
but he was
that-
also a cat man. So cat man comes from the shadows and just murks the shit out of this denim-clad stranger, maybe 3 feet away from Billy.
Yeah.
As Billy's walking away, doesn't notice any of this horse shit.
Falls to the ground. Billy doesn't hear anything.
Now, while all this is going on, we keep intercutting to what is our group of teenagers. And I am saying teenagers because one of these people looks like he's in his 50s.
Yeah, none of them look like teenagers.
No,
but that guy.
I would say 30s to one guy who is on the verge of getting a pension. He's even they call it you kids at one point.
He does.
The guy looks like an insurance salesman. Like he's in like a baby blue suit. He's got the coiffed over hair.
Yeah.
His face is very weathered. So as we go to the car and we find out that Duke flipped out at a party they were at and got in a fight and they all got kicked out. So there's 2 cars.
Yeah.
Duke is in the front driving and the other one's following and they're looking for another party. They're partying.
Okay.
We're going on party over here. And let's just break down what kind of guy Duke is real
But
quick.
they were a group though that went to the party.
Yeah, they
together.
were.
Okay.
They were a group of friends, even though that throughout this movie, their interactions, you would think that these people just despise. There was not a single ounce of showing of any caring between any of these people.
Hey, Hey, watch the goddamn beer in the upholstery!
Then watch the goddamn roads and stop complaining.
Yeah, Duke, watch them roads. I'd like to try to have a couple of more beers in me before I'm splattered across the landscape. At the moment, I'm much too sober to appreciate it.
Any line of dialogue that have each other, oh, you stupid son of a bitch. Oh, what are you talking about over here? Oh, quit telling me what to do.
Fist fights break out.
Push her out, fist fights, they're being misogynist and shit, yelling at their women.
There is one guy that seems to be kind of neutral, but that's probably
He's the best character in the movie. I think he's kind of supposed to be the sidekick of Duke and looks up to Duke a little bit. But
do they even talk, really?
Yeah.
Do they? Okay. I just remember that a lot of him with his puppet. He has a puppet. And then, as you pointed out midway through, he's
actually
wearing
the note I took about this scene was, all right, so the main character's name is Duke. This guy's name is Rich, and he has a hand puppet that looks like a furry little teddy bear in a sweater kind of thing.
Yeah.
Named Mook.
Well, what do you say we kiss and make up? Hi, Duke, what do you say? What are you, queer or something?
So the note I took is Duke and Mook the kook.
Oh boy. That's what he is.
Because Rich, the guy with the hand puppet, he's the comic relief, and he's the only 100% pure asshole in this movie. The women are assholes, the men are assholes, everyone's a fucking asshole in this movie. They really are. There is nothing likable to the point where I was having trouble remembering their fucking names in this movie. I cared so little about these characters.
Just every single line sounds so negative.
So negative. They're caravanning their way through the night as they had just been kicked out of the party, and it kind of just cuts between this whole weird kid lamenting about his birthday storyline and them looking for some place to party. You know, it kind of just seesaws in between. And every once in a while, Dracula, the paper towel Dracula pops up, has some lines of really heavy-handed, pointless dialogue with his Catman.
Yeah, that he's petting.
Yeah, the Catman sits at the foot of Paper Towel Dracula's throne and purrs as he pets him and thinks out loud in that thing's general direction. I kind of think is I still don't know what the fuck it was supposed to be.
He calls him Kitty.
He calls him Kitty. It looks like a goblin and it's dressed like a pirate with a hook for a hand.
Yeah.
And the worst part is that's not even the most ridiculous monster in this movie. There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's monster after monster after monster in this movie. A lot of them look pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
You know?
they do. A lot of just even little effects, like when they show Paper Towel Dracula's head and the vein throbbing on it. That was a pretty intense
they got some pretty cool special effects. I mean, whoever did the special effects work was, for whatever budget they had for this thing, which I'm sure was nothing, or they just spent it all on the special effects and not buying cameras or hiring anyone that knows how to read or speak.
Was that on IMDb, the budget?
It doesn't have the budget, but the gross was $17,000.
Well, okay. Well, that's something.
I'm sure the budget probably is up to debate, considering that there was 2 crews that worked on it. They only filmed like 3/4 the movie, the first crew, and then they hired an entire director and an entirely different crew for the second part, which has to do with every scene that has to do with Paper Towel Jesus and Billy here. None of that was supposed to be part of the original movie.
I wonder how. Well, you said it was during production they abandoned. He fired the first guy and got the second guy.
From what I read, they showed a rough cut of what they had so far to the financier, who promised to keep his hands off of it because the 2 original directors were big horror movie buffs. They loved the genre. They were doing it as a labor of love. And then supposedly, days into production, they're saying this money man was so far up their asses that every penny had to be accounted for, every decision they made that had to go through them.
Yeah.
Dialogue had to go through him, to the point where then the guy just lost faith in him and just brought in this other guy. And I think the second director's work on this film is what fucks it up.
Yeah.
After finding out what exactly he did for this movie, and it didn't add anything. It just really made for a lot of questions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Had this been just the original movie, it would have been almost like Night of the Demons, where you had a group of kids trying to party in the wrong house, and monsters ensued. And then this other guy comes through, and now there's the vampire, or the Paper Towel Dracula, as I call him, like a crypt keeper type situation.
That's what it. Yeah, it's like a crypt keeper. Yeah.
A bride to resurrect, all kinds of weird shit. Billy and his birthday party.
It makes it so disjointed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck, we're only like 5 minutes into this movie too.
Yeah.
So let's jump back into our timeline here on the film. So it's jumping back and forth. The caravan to the party, random woods guys. Then you got magician ghoul. Or I'm sorry, pirate kitty ghoul tearing up faces. So eventually we go back to Billy. Billy wanders up to this giant mansion. Now Billy's must never have seen a single fucking movie in his life, because anybody who's seen this thing would be like, I'm not going in there. Yeah. It's a big, haunted looking mansion surrounded by a graveyard. Fucking graveyard. So Billy comes wandering into this place, and for no reason whatsoever, there's like a birthday set up for him, but like all the balloons are hanging downwards. There's a cake, various party accoutrement, blowers, hats.
Lots
no
of
one's
places
there.
set.
Yeah, it was all set up.
Yeah.
To really, get up with the get down.
What I didn't get is he's walking around going, like, Mom and Dad, you did remember my birthday.
Yeah, he's talking to these, like, he thinks, oh, they did remember.
Hey, surprise party. So you didn't forget after all. This is really great.
Yeah.
They just wanted me to wander off to some random abandoned building.
Yeah.
And find my birthday party.
Purely by chance.
Yeah, and they're gonna hide. Surprise. Surprise.
This is what Billy thinks.
Billy's a smart kid.
He's super. That's why his parents love
He's
him
lucky
so
he's
much.
not getting ass raped in the woods right now by Den and Dan, honestly.
He is, yeah.
So he's Mom, Dad, come out. Oh my God, you remember my birthday. And then there's, out of nowhere, a random toy robot starts walking his way.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the scene of what looks like Macaulay Culkin with a green face and a robe on with an ice pick, like sneaking around the house.
Right, yeah.
Which doesn't come into play till like almost an hour later.
And isn't explained once they do bring him back.
Lightly.
Kind of.
Lightly.
I don't get it.
This movie, I don't think anyone gets this movie, man. And when you got one movie made by two different people with two different casts and two different scripts, what do you expect?
I mean, we're doing as well of a job at explaining it as I think we can. Given
We're going to try to power through this one. Now, I will say early on, because it sounds like we're being very negative, this movie is horrid.
Yeah.
It's not well done, but it is entertaining as shit.
I had fun, yeah.
It's fun. Like there's a lot of monsters.
Yeah.
So if you can turn your brain off and not get annoyed by every person being a gigantic fucking asshole to each other,
right?
That you don't give a flying fuck about, and you're begging for these people. They're like, come on, just fucking kill Duke. God.
And they didn't cheap out on the monsters either at all. It's
the monsters look cool.
They really do. Yeah.
So there's all these presents. He's picking up one. He sniffs one for some reason. He shakes another. And then he comes up to a big guy. And he's like, oh, well, you guys must want me to open this. Okay, I'm opening it. And he opens the lid. And in is the head of Paper Towel Jesus. And he just goes...
calling him now?
Or no, Paper Towel Dracula. Paper Towel Dracula. My brain is just reeling, trying to keep all the facts of this together. And like just trying to not lose any of the madness. So in is Paper Towel Dracula's head. And he goes,
Happy birthday, Billy.
Happy birthday, Billy.
Billy goes running out the house. Obviously, he's freaked out. Then he gets chased down by Cat Pirate. And Cat Pirate starts scratching up his face like a kitty does. Yeah. His hook and his little kitty claws. And Billy falls into an already dug grave.
Yeah.
Like there's just a grave. There's a shovel still there. The dirt's piled up.
Right.
He falls in there and Catman starts burying him alive.
Very aggressively. Like right away, just starts heaving it on him.
Now, why Billy couldn't get out of this, I don't know.
No, Billy, he's kind of writhing.
Like he's like, oh no.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen quickly, even though he's burying him at a rapid rate. Billy really isn't being buried rapidly.
Nah.
He could have easily, at any minute, climbed out of there and continued running away.
Not only that, nothing really happened to him besides his face getting scratched up.
Right.
Why he wouldn't just be like, I'm the fuck out of here, is beyond me. Instead, he's just like, all right, Catman, you win.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get buried alive now.
So, and we don't see Billy again.
Oh no, Billy's dead.
So we assume, Billy's dead.
How could you not assume? He got buried alive in the yard.
He
never shows him again, never talks about him again.
Yeah, I mean, he's dead. Billy died. So Billy's dead.
Billy's dead. He's dead. Oh, to Billy.
To Billy.
Oh, man. Pulling out for your homie.
Our poor idiot child.
So after Billy gets buried alive,
It's our credit scene, right?
which is fucked up. Yeah, we have our opening credit scene, which is like blood dripping to spell the word Spookies.
Yeah.
And the skull, or the eye has a skull in it, but then it zooms in on the skull, which is very menacing looking at first, but then it starts smiling like, and it looks extremely unmenacing, like the kind of Halloween decoration you'd have in a kindergarten room.
Yeah.
And then we go into our main movie, where the Twisted Souls part starts taking place. So, the caravan of teenagers arrives at the house because they're gonna party. You don't know how to party, we're gonna party.
Why does Duke have such a thick accent and no one else does?
I was more wondering why Duke was dressed like Eddie Murphy from Delirious.
It was insane.
He
his
had
outfit.
he had a black leather maybe coat covered in zippers.
Yeah.
Like he was ready to have a thriller night, which he ended up having.
He did, yeah.
Zombies and all. There's zombies in this flick.
So
they go inside and they start partying. And by partying, I mean they're having beers and listening to smooth jazz. And I'm not even kidding, the smoothest of jazz.
Come on, honey, let's dance.
No, leave me alone. I don't want to do nothing.
And as they're partying, they come across a planchette for a Ouija board. And it's very, horror movie in the 80s-esque. And then they find this locked closet and they think they hear something behind it. So Duke, being the calm guy he is, starts bashing away at this door. And he's crapping at it, he's bashing at it, you gotta bash it open, I gotta see what's in there, guys. Please don't open that, Duke. Oh, fuck you guys, I know what's best.
literally, that's
Duke.
what he's saying.
So as Duke opens it, a corpse falls out holding one of the most demonic-looking fucking Ouija boards known to man. Does anyone bat an eye at this? No. Of course not. Whatever.
The Ouija board is a tool for communication.
Communication with who?
The dead.
The dead.
So after they find this Ouija board and this corpse, they decide to set it up and play with it, because that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in their late 40s, they should know. That they should have seen a movie or two by now. Yeah. That's not a good idea. And they're asking questions, and then it's cutting to paper towel Dracula answering those questions, and the planchette shows what he's saying. So they first ask it, like, how old's one of the girls? And it's 24.
Yeah.
So it goes to the 24.
Right.
And she's like, well, how old would I be when I die? 24.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, we'll ask it something else. Then Duke's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Will Duke and I be together forever?
Right.
No. Will we be together next month?
No.
No. Will we be together tomorrow? No. And then, as this is going on, the one friend who found the plant, she gets possessed by paper towel Dracula. In a very Evil Dead-like scene, she dons the Evil Dead makeup. I mean, the only thing that she's not doing to make it Evil Dead is dead by dawn.
Yeah.
She's got the makeup
But
on.
it's that similar voice though that
Yeah.
they're using for her too and everything.
And you hear her like chime in like, will we get out alive? And it's, no! And then they're like, oh my god, she's possessed.
Yeah.
So they go try to run out the house. As they're running out, they're making their way through the graveyard. And her boyfriend, the possessed woman's boyfriend, falls on his face. And a tombstone pops up directly in front of him. And what looks like those snake sparklers you buy for 4th of July that you let your 2-year-olds play with.
It is what it looked like, yeah.
That starts spelling out the character's name across, like, this is your tombstone.
Right.
And it turns into a quick cemetery instead of quicksand.
Yeah.
And he gets pulled into the ground. So then...
into his own grave.
So they're all just like, what the fuck? And then all the other graves, zombies start popping out. They're like, fuck, go back in the house. This is no good. Can't get out of here.
No.
Now, what is the smartest thing you can do if you're in a horrific situation where survival, your odds are plummeting?
Yeah.
There's a large group of you. What's the best thing you can do? Split up, which is exactly what they do. They split the fuck up.
Yeah.
So Duke and his girl go to the basement. There's this other pompous bitch smoking cigarettes, and her boyfriend she likes to kick around. Oh, and then Rich,
yeah.
Rich goes off on his own, and
he's peeing in fireplaces.
And then the rest of them, the extremely elderly man and his girl go off somewhere else too.
Yeah. And they're all separate, but still arguing.
Yes. They start being dicks to each other. They just never stop being dicks to each other.
Yeah.
So then we follow Duke and his girlfriend down to the basement, where he's just flying off the handle about any and everything he can. Anytime she just tries to speak, he just, whoa, what, you think I don't know what I'm doing over here? You must think I'm a dumbass, huh? Huh? You think I'm fucking up? Huh? You can't listen to me? You think I'm stupid, huh, don't you?
Yeah.
She'll just be like, hey, maybe we should go down this way. Maybe you should listen to me, because I'm not as dumb as you think I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, anytime anyone tries to speak to this guy, he just flies the fuck off the handle.
Oh, yeah.
And starts just going peanut butter and banana sandwiches on anybody and everybody.
Take it easy.
Take it easy. Don't tell me to take it easy. I know how to handle myself. You think I don't, huh?
All right. Forget it.
Forget it. You think I can, huh?
So after screaming at her for a while, he's like, let's get frisky.
Yeah, he whips a towel at her face.
Yeah, she's like, well, I hear it's gross down here. He's like, don't worry, Duke will provide.
That's what he said. Yeah, Duke will provide.
Duke will provide. And he throws a towel at her like I think he's trying to say, like, put the towel down, I'm gonna bang you.
Yeah.
And why all this is going on, out of nowhere, these muck monsters start coming out of the ground in the basement they're in, which is like kind of a wine cellar. There's like wine in the background, like big barrels of wine and shit.
So the muck monsters,
they rise up and they're farting. They are just farting like crazy. And they back him into a corner. And Duke smashes open this big barrel of wine.
Yeah.
Which for some reason melts the fucking muck monsters.
Yeah, they like disintegrate.
So he's like, oh, I ain't gonna bang you down here, let's get out of here. So they leave the basement. So then, Duke and his insanely tolerant, or maybe just I hate the living shit out of myself girlfriend who wants to just be miserable her entire life by putting up with Duke.
Yeah.
Leave the basement. We go to what I'm going to refer to as bitchy cigarette girl and pussy whipped boyfriend. All she did was smoke cigarettes and be a cunt.
Pussy whipped boyfriend and bitchy cigarette woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
So bitchy cigarette woman and pussyfoot.
Yeah, it's called pussyfoot.
Pussyfoot. They're sitting in this room she's sitting on a fold-out mattress on a couch, and he's kind of just walking in circles like, I can't believe I let you push me around. You're such a bitch. Am I?
And she doesn't want to. He wants to try to find a way out.
He wants to try to find a way out. She's like imposing her, like, I feel safe in this room. We're staying in this room.
They've been gone an awfully long time.
Well, maybe they're all dead.
So he falls asleep on the mattress. She's sitting there smoking her cigarettes, being a total fucking retarded cunt bitch. And it cuts back to the Evil Dead girl who's playing with the Ouija board now, and I think this is where you start picking up that she's summoning the monsters.
Yeah.
Like, she summoned the poop farts down in the basement.
She's acting through Paper Towel Dracula.
Yeah, Paper Towel Dracula is using her as a pawn to spawn
more
other
pawns.
monsters. I mean, because you need an intermediary with any Ouija board. Who's got time to be Ouijaing themselves?
It's true, because he's doing other shit while she's
he's
doing the
sitting in
summoning.
chairs, he's lighting candles, he's talking obviously, he's got shit to do.
Yeah, he's petting his kitty.
He's got his man kitty there, he's got fucking important shit. You can't just be Ouija boarding all the time.
Right, you're right.
Who's got time for that? Nobody.
You're right, it makes total
nobody
sense.
got time for that. So she summons what could best be described as like a couple merman goblin things that just appear in this room. One pops out and she's like, oh my god. And she goes to wake her boyfriend up, who's just been sleeping next to her the whole time. She rolls him over. He's dead. His face is ripped off.
Yeah.
How this happened, we don't know. How it happened next to her without her cunt ass who's smoking cigarettes without noticing, we don't know.
Well, we all know the mermen are silent.
Yes. Yeah, they don't talk.
No, they're silent and deadly.
The people in Cabin in the Woods would have been really excited about this scene. So, he's dead. She gets bit in the leg or something, I think, and then fire pokes one of the mermen. Like, this thing looks like the creature from the Black Lagoon from the top and just like a sperm on the bottom. It's got no legs. She fire pokes the one, and then she casually walks to the door, and then there's another one coming at her, and she pushes a dresser over and it squishes it, and she runs out the fucking door.
Yeah.
And that's the last you see of the mermen. So we're up to how many monsters now? We got Ghoul, we got Kitty Man, we got
pretty much all the monsters except for maybe Kitty Pirate and maybe one other. They're all one shots.
Yeah.
You see him once and that's it. On to the
Besides
next.
Kitty Pirate and Paper Towel Dracula and
Paper Towel
the
Dracula.
zombies, you know, they're kind of wrapped around in here and
that's
there,
true.
but
Yeah.
they're zombies. So she goes running down a hallway, and there's it's like one of those scenes where the hallway is dark and there's a couple lights, and you can only see what the lights illuminate. And within one of the lights is Pussyfoot, and almost in an Obi-Wan situation where he's dead, but he's talking to her from beyond the grave. And she thinks he's alive. So, as this is going on, out of nowhere, another one-off monster, which was awesome looking. It looked kind of like Butterball, the Cenobite Butterball from Hellraiser, with tentacles and lightning. So he wraps
Really
her up in the
crazy.
tentacles, lightning starts going, and she fucking melts. Just melts.
There's a lot of disintegration in this movie.
Yeah, there's disintegration, there's people being deflated, sucked in the ground.
Yeah.
They really got creative with this thing.
They did, yeah. I mean, we had fun watching it, so...
I always have fun watching. I'm not gonna lie, this is not the first time I've watched this film. I haven't watched it since high school with my buddy Beef. Him and I used to watch it a lot. If you're watching, shout out Beef. I know this is one that you requested, but there's a lot I was picking up on more now than I never picked up on before. But I think that was because I was more of a casual watcher.
Yeah.
As a teenager, and as opposed to really trying to make sense of anything I was seeing.
Yeah.
I was more just monsters, woo! So that monster's gone after looking dope as fuck. I hope that appears up here somewhere because it's a pretty good special effects work. So Pussyfoot's dead. Cigarette Cunt's dead. Then we go on to back down to Paper Towel Jesus. Why do I keep calling him Jesus?
I don't know.
Paper Towel Dracula, who, as we alluded to earlier, is doing this to resurrect his dead bride, who is now resurrected for some reason. Without anyone, there was no ceremony. They didn't even really have to kill everybody. For some reason, she's just back.
And she's not happy about it.
Oh, she's not happy one bit. She's like, hey, you, I killed myself before I get away from you. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Not cool, Mr. Man.
Right. And he assures her that she's
He's
gonna
like,
be happy.
no, you love me.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
Why did they make his voice like that?
They had no reason to. And why did they age him? They put age prosthetics that look terrible on this man for no reason. They could have hired an old guy. Why didn't they use the one old guy they tried to pass off as a fucking teenager? That guy looked like he was getting his pension checks. Like that he's bummed out he didn't see his grandkids enough.
Yeah.
You know, he's gonna catch the early bird at Bill Knapp's on the weekend.
Yeah, he is significantly older than everyone else in that.
I guarantee you there's at least one candy tray of hard candies in his house that has been melted together into one solid piece.
One super Werther's.
A mega Werther's. So she escapes him and goes running off into what is a very confusing scene. And I, to this moment, can't figure out what the fuck was the point of this or what even was supposed to have been happening in this scene.
Go ahead. I have no. I don't know, man.
I'll try to explain as best I can.
I know that she's being accosted by different ghouls of sorts down there.
Not really. She gets accosted.
There's a couple, right?
No, just the one.
Is it just one?
Yeah,
it's like that screaming thing, or
yeah, that's in a wedding dress too.
Yeah, would that have been his creation? Paper duck.
It could have been called by the Ouija board. Why was it dressed like her? So anyway, the bride, who is in a wedding dress this whole time, gets resurrected in a wedding dress. So she runs away. She Julia Roberts the whole thing. Does a runaway bride, and she's like, I'm assuming in a basement. Maybe it's an attic. It's so hard to tell in this fucking movie.
Yeah, we don't know.
There's this weird phantom creature in the same wedding dress. And it just kind of screams in her face for a while.
Yeah.
And then we cut scene. It's ridiculous looking. It's confusing. It's really weird. And it's a whole nother monster.
Right.
That's only in that one scene.
That's never explained.
Never explained. So it goes from that back to Rich and Mook. Mook being Rich's hand puppet.
Yeah.
Duke's mad now, Mook.
The guy has a hand puppet. I know we haven't talked a lot about that. For some reason, he just has a hand puppet.
And
he relies on the hand puppet.
A shirt with a picture of himself with the puppet.
Yeah, he's also, he's wearing himself on his shirt with his puppet.
Yeah. So this is obvious. This is a gift. This is him.
Yeah, that not only is it him, he's advertising him on him.
Right.
It's doubly him. This is a Big Red situation, you know, like he's double mint gum in it, you know.
Big Red.
So we catch up with him in what turns into like a strangely racist scene. So he's in a dark hallway, and an Asian woman comes out of the hallway, and for this entire time there's been haunted house music playing. The second this Asian woman goes on screen, the whole soundtrack just flips on its ear, and this overtly Asian traditional music.
Yeah.
Anytime she's on screen,
It's like Chinese folk music.
yeah, it's like Chinese folk. I mean, I know it doesn't sound like much, but if we introduced a Mexican character this late into the movie, and out of nowhere the soundtrack flips to mariachi bands, you'd be like, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah, it is weird.
There is nothing to be afraid of.
Trust me, Mr. Adam.
Hey, you know my name.
Like, it's like, oh, she's Asian.
Because what happens...
Samurai soundtrack.
What happens next has absolutely nothing to do with her being
Asian. Being Asian.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's just an Asian actress that they hired for like. I don't think it was like we have to find an Asian to play this role. I think the actress they found was Asian. He is talking to her. We got the overtly racist music going. And as he's doing it, you kind of notice there's a lot of spider webs around.
That's right.
And as he's talking to her, without him noticing, a giant spider climbs up his back.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking big.
Without him noticing.
Like he's having dialogue with this lady. And you see, like, the legs climbing up and boop, around his head. And then suddenly he's stuck in a spider web. And that's when this woman starts morphing into a spider.
Right.
A giant, and it's pretty cool looking.
It's very cool looking.
But it takes like a lot of different... They really took some time in it, because like at first she just has like this giant head.
Right.
And then her head like turns into all these meat flaps that are like pulsating.
Yeah.
Like
right.
Like almost like window wipers. Grows the giant legs.
They're like elongating out of her body. Like.
Yeah, and then her head starts elongating.
Yeah.
And Mitch and Mook, I'm going to call them almost like a buddy duo now, because they're the only ones I like in this
Mitch
whole movie.
Mook. Sounds like a cop duo.
Rich and Mook. Hey, who's on the scene? Rich and Mook. Oh.
Yeah. It's a guy in a puppet.
This guy is puppet. Who's going to solve these murders? The guy is puppet.
Yeah.
Call Rich and Mook. Get him on the case. So
he's in this web.
She turns into a spider, and then spider comes up to him, opens its mouth, and then like a scene out of the movie Alien, like a little extra mouth comes,
yeah,
and it sucks all the nectar out of him, and he turns into like a skin flap. Like all the bones and juices are gone. He's just like
he's a skin sack.
He's a dead skin sack, and that's the last we see of any redeemable character.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Sadly.
Whatsoever. He's just deflated.
Deflated.
Yeah. Rich gets sucked.
Yeah, Rich got sucked.
But you know what? He was the only one that was there without a girl.
Yeah.
He was the nicest one in the bunch. At least he got sucked in the end.
Yeah, we got a lot of sucking in our movies.
Yeah.
Last one had sucking. Life Force had sucking.
Life Force had a lot of sucking.
Yeah, the last one did too. Jeffrey Combs got sucked.
He got his hair sucked off.
Yeah, he got his whole head sucked off.
Eyebrows and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. So then we catch up with our remaining characters, which is Father Time and his girlfriend, who is more appropriately aged to almost pull off being a teenager.
Yeah.
Or a college kid.
Closer.
I think they're supposed to be in their college years. The one girl that they mentioned was 24.
Yeah,
and that was cigarette cunt.
Love these nicknames; they're fun.
With things like this, there's so much goofy shit that happens in these movies that I have to make like these little, like 2-3 word reminders, like, oh, this also happened. Don't forget about this. You know?
Right? Yeah.
So we get back to Father Time and his girlfriend, who doesn't really say much or do much. It's a dire movie. They're wandering in the house, and they meet back up with Duke and his girl.
Yeah.
You know, Duke, he's being a dick as usual. He's yelling at people. So, Duke and Father Time get in a fist fight.
Yeah.
And the girls are like, oh, boys, just let them do it. And they're clobbering the shit out of each other. Just whack,
just completely nonchalant about the whole thing.
They're throwing punches, and those ladies are just over there together like, can you believe these guys
that we date? Which makes me think that it must happen frequently.
If you surround yourself with dickheads of that caliber, I'm assuming. I mean, the whole situation started is because they got kicked out of a party for fighting.
Yeah, right.
So obviously you can't take Duke and his fucking back pussy anywhere. There's several scenes where Duke has to bend over, like help somebody up or something, and he has a flowing mane of hair just hanging out of his back.
Yeah.
Like, so I dubbed it his back pussy.
You only see it that one quick shot, right?
You see it a couple, but the one shot, it's like on the camera. Like, it's
Yeah.
like an inch away from it.
Yeah.
It looks like a wolf pussy just hanging out.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It's not cool.
No.
No, you think that he'd put an undershirt on.
I mean, I'd assume a guy like that would have a hairy back. Dude.
I assume like that the only thing that's not hairy on him is his knuckles, and that's because they've been dragging on the ground the whole movie. So, you know, they're broing around, you know, palling it up, because that's apparently how their friendship works.
Yeah.
So we just dick it up and punch each other.
Beat the shit out of each other.
And there's a statue of a skeletal Grim Reaper in the background that comes to life. And it's got a big scythe. I assume this is where Duke gets killed. It's not very clear. He takes a swipe at Duke. It looks like Duke dodges it and just gets knocked into a table, but that's the last you ever see of Duke. So, I think he's dead.
Yeah.
I hope he's dead.
There's not a whole lot of clarity.
Fuck you, Duke.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Come on, Duke, you didn't even provide a good ending.
Yeah.
You provided nothing but an outfit for us to make fun of and a lot of backfire.
Duke did not provide.
So, the other three, Duke's girlfriend, Father Time, and his girlfriend, go climbing out a window, and they're on, like, the top of the, the overhang for the patio. And the Grim Reaper follows him out there. And they get kind of cornered. And they're like, man, we're a whole story up. We can't jump. So then Father Time goes running up on this thing, and he grabs the handle of the scythe. And for some reason, the handle starts, like, smoking. Like, this green smoke starts coming off. And Father Time overpowers Death, the Grim Reaper, and throws him off the patio far, 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 like maybe 8 feet, down to the lawn below. To where he immediately fucking explodes.
Yeah.
Like a car going off a cliff. Not like just like bang and you see limbs going everywhere. It's just like boosh. And that's it.
I will say it was shocking. I was not expecting
not
that.
ready for it either.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's been as long as it has since I had seen this movie. Like I said, I've seen it a couple times, but it was one of those things where my buddy Beef and I, we had a love for these really crappy movies. We would party and watch stuff like this, and another one called Curse of the Blue Lights, which is even worse than this.
Really?
Yeah, maybe we'll have to do that one of these times.
That sounds cool.
Don't take that as a promise, Beef. We may never do it, but we might. So he blows up. And they're like, fuck, let's go back in the house. So they go back in the house. Girl's like, what are we going to do, man? What are we going to do? Father Time's like, I've been around for a long time. Got a lot of years on this earth. My grandkids got grandkids by now.
Yeah.
So he sees like these two costume axes on the wall. These axes look stupid as fuck.
They're retarded.
They're like this big. The blade on it. It looks like something. It looks like an ironic like cheese knife you'd get. So they climb back through the window. They got the dumbass axe, and that's when they re-encounter their one friend who's all evil deaded up. Her head splits open, and her eyes start glowing orange, and it starts emanating orange light from the top of her head, and the whole room turns into like static. And they're like pinned to the floor from it. And what's ironic is, alright, I've been making fun of this guy's fucking age the whole movie. But for some reason, this static ages you.
Yeah.
So
he
they
starts
took
getting older.
They took the old fucking guy and they made him even older.
Yeah.
He is able to climb across the floor, and the corpse they found that had the Ouija board earlier is laying there and somehow like screaming and alive, and he pulls a ring off it, throws it at the girl who's got the Ouija board. Lightning goes everywhere and she's dead?
I have no clue. We can only assume. Is that the last time we see them?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So yeah, we don't know.
Oh, we'll get to that later. I got a whole thing of questions that were never answered.
All right.
So somehow the bride is back with Paper Towel Paper Towel Dracula, after getting yelled at by the Phantom Bride. She ice picks. She has an ice pick on her, and she ice picks his forehead and like kills him. And she goes to go running out of the house, and all these zombies stop her. Like it turns into, well, no, stop her. She falls.
They start coming out of the ground like slowly.
It turns into the music video Thriller at this point. For like the next 10 minutes. She's writhing around the ground, and all these hands are coming out, and they're trying to pin her, and she can't seem to stand up and get away. And they kind of like rip her outfit out down to a slip, and she eventually gets up and starts she books it like a bat out of hell.
Once she finally gets up.
Yeah, like a fucking Olympic sprinter. She's just out of there. And the zombies are like, just kind of following her. And then it goes to this really weird scene where the camera is looking at the front of like a Buick, and there's a garage behind it, and it looks like the garage is coming out of like the land or the woods, to where there's soil all the way up to the roof of it.
Right.
Because she goes like running across the top of it and down and jumps in the car, and all those zombies that she just like fucking barreled away from are right behind her now for some reason. She jumps in the car. Some random character comes right up like, "What are you stealing my car?" And she's like, "Help me!" There's 32 fucking zombies everywhere. Doesn't seem to notice them anywhere.
No.
And then he finally notices them. He jumps in the car too.
There's still no sense of urgency once they get in the car.
They start driving off. After they drive off, she's like, "Oh my god, thank you. I can't believe now I can leave." And then this random guy turns to her and he's like, "You can never leave." Ha 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 ha! And it's implied that he is also Paper Towel Dracula.
Don't you realize I've always loved you too?
So then the movie ends. Well, alright. One thing we forgot to say, the movie begins. I don't even care that I explained it this way because it didn't even have anything to do with the beginning of the movie. In the beginning of the movie, the first thing it shows is a grave, and there's a gravestone that has two chains chained over it, and the stone is like rumbling.
Oh, that's right.
Like something's trying to get out.
Right.
The last thing it shows is that grave again. The chains break, it goes flying open, and Paper Towel Dracula with his head, with a big hole in his fucking head, comes flying out. He's like, "Ah ha 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 ha!" Credits roll. Yeah. So he was also in the grave the whole time?
That's what. Yeah. He was both, I guess.
So here's some questions I have. What happened to the people in the house? There were still 3 survivors.
Right.
Now, Father Time had turned into like Grandpa Time by this point.
Right.
They were all just laying on the ground. Never shows them again.
I would assume, based on how things were going, that they also perished, huh? I mean, that's an assumption.
I guess.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have some closure. You know, we've gone through so far with these assholes.
Yeah, I know. All the fighting and the...
Yeah, I felt like I was out in a car ride with like my buddy's parents, and all they did was fight the whole time, and you didn't want to be there, and you knew it wasn't part of your problem, but you had to sit and watch the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
That's what watching these characters fight were like.
I'd agree with that.
I mean, I left this movie with so many questions, and I've seen it a lot.
What's your second question?
Was the random guy at the end a neighbor? How wasn't it a neighbor the whole time? And there's zombies and shit running around and he didn't see anything.
Right, yeah.
This was supposed to be in the middle of nowhere in the woods. When those guys were caravanning around looking for somewhere to go party, we're going to party over here. They made mention that they'd been driving around for 2 hours and haven't seen so much as a house. Then they find this place and the guy's got neighbors?
Well, it wasn't a neighbor though. It was, what's his name, right?
Okay, but the guy still had an extra car and garage?
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
What is he? Does he have a car note on the side, like in case Paper Towel fucking Dracula needs to go goddamn grocery shopping?
That's true. Yeah.
He needs to get some litter for his little fucking hooky hand manservant. What happened to Hook Hand?
Yeah. We don't see Hook Hand.
3/4 of the movie, he just stopped being here, and they were kind of using him as a device to where, like, anytime something bad has happened, he's in the background watching, or like when the girl was being attacked by the man mermaids, he was in the window, like,
yeah, right.
But there's no real closure what happened to Kitty. Like, man, I should have just been calling him Mittens the whole time.
Mittens.
Mittens the pirate cat. Why, if they needed to kill all these people to resurrect the bride, were they able to resurrect the bride without killing more than 2 people?
Yeah.
And how did those 2 people dying even help resurrect? It didn't even show her being resurrected.
No.
She was dead in one scene, and then she's up.
No, that is a good point. Yeah, if she's already resurrected at this point, why keep killing? And Dracula, Paper Towel guy, doesn't seem to have like a bloodlust. It's like he's doing this to resurrect his bride, yet it's just so confusing and disjointed. It's insane, man.
And you know, even through all this, I left out the fact that they had 2 kids that were running around in this thing because they didn't really ever do anything the whole movie.
Yeah.
One kid looked like Macaulay Culkin with an ice pick.
Yeah.
And the other kid had only showed once, and he was like a zombie monster thing at the end.
Right, yeah.
They had no real bearing on the movie itself, or like what was going on, or why, or taking away from this. How did you feel about this movie?
I had fun, but there's just a lot of nonsense. Too much nonsense to really even watch again, man. It's again, the effects were very cool.
A lot of monsters.
That's
a lot of work for one scene per monster.
No, yeah, I guess it has rewatchability.
I think the characters suck so bad. Aside from my man Rich
and Mook. Yeah.
Much love.
Knowing the backstory behind why it's so disjointed just makes it's like an Ed Wood movie. It's like you watch it for like kind of the shock of like, oh my god, I can't believe this actually even got finished, you know? But that's kind of where it ends for me with it.
I feel, like crap is my bread and butter. I very much would like to have seen the original filmmakers finish this as Twisted Souls, which would have omitted the whole Paper Towel Dracula was never part of that storyline. The Bride was never part of that storyline. Yeah. Billy was never part of that storyline. His stupid fucking birthday party. It was more just like a Night of the Demons situation where the one girl got possessed through the Ouija board and was summoning these monsters throughout the house.
Yeah.
That would have been a much cooler movie to me.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And it would have made a lot more sense. Like this whole extra storyline they put in, it didn't even follow its own rules. It didn't even pan out on what it was trying to show.
Yeah.
Because the whole end goal was to murder these college kids to use their souls to resurrect his dead bride. They didn't even have to do that to resurrect her.
No.
Oh, you know what? I bet you it doesn't show what happened to those other three characters because they never finished that movie. Because when we did our research on this, when they brought in the second director, he did not have access to any of the original crew.
Which was the Bride stuff was all...
The Bride stuff, so even the zombies at the end, that was all the other guy.
Right.
The main story of Duke and the Boys, and the House Full of Monsters was the end of it, or was the whole storyline.
Yeah.
But how I feel about it is, I'll watch the crap out of this thing any day of the week.
Yeah.
I love crap movies. They're my bread and butter. This one is especially crappy. The characters are so unlikable. Besides Rich.
And Mook.
Rich and Mook. The special effects make it a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because as it is a no-budget movie, the special effects actually were pretty impressive with what they were working with.
They were.
They had to come up with something like 12, 15 monsters in this movie?
Yeah, if it were missing that, that's what makes the movie, hands down.
So, let's go to our star system. I'm going to think, we'll call it a full star, a Mook. So we got Mook puppets as the full star.
Okay.
Half stars, a merman.
Okay.
I give it 3 Mooks and a merman. 3.5
Mooks. That's a pretty high score.
Out of 5.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, the way I rate when I watch is it redeemable in its crappiness? Is it fun? Is it, does it take itself too seriously? Is it, is it a fun watch? And I 100% think it's a fun watch. I've watched it more times than I probably should care to admit. Most of it when I was much younger. I think this is the first time I watched it in like 15 years. But I most definitely probably will have 1 or 2 more nights of Spookies in my future. With that being said, what do you give it?
I did have fun watching it, and kind of the more we've been just kind of talking about it, you've kind of bumped up my score a bit. I think I'm being too harsh on it, given everything that went behind it. I was going to give it somewhere in the realm of 2 Mooks. I think I'm going to bump it up to 3 Mooks.
3 Mooks?
Yeah, I'll give it that extra Mook.
All right.
It was entertaining. We were laughing a lot.
Also, side note, if you'd like to watch this movie yourself, it's free to watch on YouTube.
Which is where we watched it.
We watched it on YouTube. Normally, I have a vast collection of movies. Normally, we pull from one of those, or we find a streaming source to watch something on, or etc. But this one we were able just to watch right off good old YouTube.
Yeah. Did we give it a like? We should have. We will. After this.
Yeah. So if you guys liked what you saw today, we're gonna keep doing this. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps us quite a bit in order to help make this show better. Obviously. We're working with what we got right now, but we'd like to eventually get it more of a professional sheen to it. Yeah. And subscribing or liking will help greatly.
Absolutely.
Follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
And on that note, we'll see you fine folks next time.
Yes. Have a great week.